Now that we know how to graph tangent and cotangent functions, let's look back at each graph and identify the domain and range. So when we're looking at domain, we can see that x can be any value except for one of their vertical asymptotes. So we'll define the domain by what x cannot equal. So for the number 16, x cannot equal the very first asymptote, which is negative pi over 8, plus multiples of that period, pi over 4n. Because every pi over 4 multiple, you'll hit another vertical asymptote. And our range, the lowest y value is negative infinity and the highest is positive infinity. This pattern will be the same for every single problem moving forward. Same here on number 18. If I'm looking for my domain, I know x cannot equal the very first asymptote plus multiples of that period. And our range is going to be from negative infinity to infinity. On number 30, for our domain, we know x cannot equal that very first vertical asymptote plus multiples of our period, because every multiple of the period gets us a new vertical asymptote. And our range is negative infinity to infinity. On number 32, our domain, x cannot equal the first vertical asymptote plus multiples of our period, and our range is from negative infinity to infinity. The same is true for cotangent functions. For our domain, in this example, x cannot equal the very first asymptote plus multiples of the period, because every 4 pi it hits a new vertical asymptote, and our range is negative infinity to infinity. In number 28, our domain, x cannot equal the first asymptote plus multiples of the period, and our range is from negative infinity to infinity. And lastly, number 38, x cannot equal the very first asymptote plus multiples of the period. That's domain. And range, we can see from our graph, goes all the way down from negative infinity up to infinity. So seeing the domain as being what x cannot equal is easier for tangent and cotangent.